the weekend. So let's start with the discussion. Now we'll be discussing important articles today. That is, here you can see PM gets, hold on a second. Okay, so PM gets Kuwait's highest honor. Okay, recently our Prime Minister was on a visit to Kuwait, and it has happened nearly after 4 decades. So that is kind of important for us. Okay, so here he has got the highest honor of the country. Here you can see India Kuwait boost ties, strategic partnership, key pact on defense. Modi gets Kuwait's highest honor, that is the Order of Mubarak Al Kabir. Okay, so we will be talking about this article over here. We will be talking about the India-Kuwait relationship. We have already discussed it, but we will be giving a passing reference again, okay, because that can be important, because this is the second time in the week we have been seeing this particular news. Okay, then coming to the next one, chaos in the winter session. You know that winter session has ended on the 20th of December. Okay, now we will be looking at the productivity of the session. Overall also we will be looking at the productivity of the parliament, that how it works and what are the challenges which are there in the, you can say, the parliamentary processes. Okay, next is India's State of Forest Report 2023. So we will be talking about this report. We will also be seeing that where we are lacking or what we have gained in terms of the area under the forest cover. Okay, so that is another thing. Other than that, we will be talking about the fact of the day, and we will be going through the geography through maps. Today we will be discussing about the areas of Greater Himalayas. We will try to look at it, because obviously we have seen the Trans Himalayas. We will be talking about the Greater Himalayas today, and then we will be going to the Lesser Himalayas and the Shivaliks. Okay, so let's move further and start with our discussion. First, we will be looking at the question which was given to you in the previous lecture. Which of the following is not part of the Iran's axis of resistance? Okay, so earlier we have discussed that. Hold on. Okay, so earlier we have discussed that there is this Iran's axis of resistance, and in this there are 3 to 4 groups which are there. Okay, so you can remember that as 3H. One is your Houthis, they are there in Yemen. Second, Hamas, they are there in Gaza Strip. And then there are Hezbollah. Hezbollah is there in Lebanon. All of them, they are supported by Iran. Okay, and all of them you will be seeing that they are kind of against Israel. Okay, so that is Iran's axis of resistance. Here if you are looking at the Kurdish militia, so that is basically working against the Turkey. Okay, in the areas of, you can say, northern Syria and the southern Turkey, so they are active over here. So this is not part of the, you can say, Iran's axis of resistance. As a matter of fact, this Kurdish militia is supported by USA. That is not on record, but I'm saying that when we are talking about the Syria, you know, there are various you can say groups which are working over there. When we talk about the recent topple of the government, or the, you can say, the fall of the government of President Assad. Okay, so President Assad's government was supported by Russia and Iran. Okay, and against that there was this opposition rebels which were there, which were earlier supported by USA, but later on, because of their links with the Islamic states and all, so USA stopped supporting them, and now USA is supporting Kurdish militia over there. Okay, so that is the dynamics of, you can say, Middle East region right now. Now let's move further and see different aspects over here. Before that, I would like to tell you that we are offering IAS Foundation course for English medium. We'll be starting new batch from the 9th January 2025 at our Noida center at 6 p.m. and Hindi medium 16th of January 2025 11:30 a.m. Address is given over here, C171/2 Block A, Sector 15, Noida. For more details, you can call on this number, that is 9311406440. Other than that, at our center Prayagraj, we are starting another batch for UPSC GS Foundation for English as well as Hindi medium on 2nd of January 2025. For Hindi medium, timing will be 6 p.m. For English medium, timing will be 5:30 p.m. Okay. Now let's move further. Before that, I have one more exciting news for you, that as the year 2024 is ending, we are moving to the different or the new year, that is 2025. It is imperative for us to go through the revision of the current affairs which has happened, or the important events or developments which has happened in the field of let's say government schemes, you can say reported indices, all these important things which are there in the current affairs. So we will be talking about that, be it your environment related aspects, science or tech related aspects. So we will be coming up with a video over here. So there is this new initiative, that is Recap 2024, which has been launched by Drishti IAS. So you can go to the YouTube and then you can search for the Drishti IAS English channel, on which there is a playlist. I will show you over here. See. So this is the YouTube page over here, Drishti IAS English, and here you will be finding the major government scheme. This is the first episode. You will be going to the playlist over here, and you will be finding that there is a new playlist, that is Recap 2024. Okay, under this particular playlist, we are having these videos which has been uploaded. Two of them has been uploaded, and we will be coming up with more of them. So you can start watching it. This is important for you, or when we are talking about the revision of the current affairs. This will be very helpful for you. Okay, so we are providing you a comprehensive, quick and concise revision in the form of these videos. So here you can see major government schemes has been discussed in 46 or 45 minutes. Here you can see major summits has been covered in 30 minutes. So this is the crux of the last year. Okay, so you can go through these videos for your revisions. Okay, that will be very high yielding series for you. Now let's come back to our discussion. Now here we'll be looking at the fact of the day. Now I have taken the sacred grooves over here. Recently Supreme Court has said that you have to come up with the plan to you can say preserve these sacred grooves. Okay, and they have directed Rajasthan government to come up with the 5 members committee as well. So considering that these sacred grooves were in news, now with the name sacred grooves, it is understood that they are talking about forest which are somehow having the religious or the spiritual importance. Okay, now when we talk about our culture, Indian culture, that we actually go for the worshipping the nature, and in that regard, or keeping that in mind, there are various areas where some of the grooves are named differently and they are worshipped over here, they are preserved in a different form. Okay, so these names are given over here. In Himachal it is called as Devvan. Okay, in Kerala they are called as Kavu. In Madhya Pradesh they are called as Sarna. In Rajasthan they are called as Oran. Okay, other than that there are different names which are given over here, so you can go through these names. Now I'll be telling that what these sacred grooves are. Okay, now sacred grooves are the tracts of virgin forest that are left untouched by the local inhabitants. Now untouched because the local inhabitants or the people who are living over there, they are not taking advantage out of it, or they are not going for collecting the forest produce out of it, because they consider them sacred. Okay, they are worshipping them. Okay, so they are not monetizing it. Okay, so that is why these are called as the tracts of virgin forest that are left untouched by the local inhabitants and are protected by the local people due to their cultural and the religious beliefs. Okay, so they have attached the cultural and the religious beliefs, and that is why they are not touching it. It is prominent in Maharashtra, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Uttarakhand. Okay, other than that also in areas of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan also they are found. Mostly you will be seeing that in the Gangetic plains they are not there. Other than that you will be finding them throughout India. Now Wildlife Protection Act 1972, they have this concept of community reserve. Okay, so these sacred groves are also designated as community reserves. Okay, so that is how our law is protecting them. Here you can say empowers the state government for declaration of any private or community land as community reserve, under which sacred groves can be declared as the community reserves. Okay, so that is about the sacred groves and how they are being protected. Okay, so you can go through the names. Now these names becomes important because they can be asked in the prelims. Okay, recently Rajasthan's Oran was in news, so you can keep a tab on all of these. Now let's move further to the next part, that is basically geography through maps. Here we'll be discussing the greater Himalayas. Okay, so if you look at this range, that is Karakoram, Jaskar range, etc., these are part of your Trans Himalayas. After that there is a continuous range that is basically known as the Great Himalayas or the Greater Himalayas. Okay, now that will be starting from somewhere over here in the in north of the Pir Panjal, and then it will be moving through all these states and then coming to the northeastern region. Okay, now here you will be seeing that there is this you can say Namcha Barwa. This is the peak which is there in Arunachal Pradesh, Namcha Barwa. So till here they are called as the Great Himalayas. Starting from this somewhere over here, that is Nanga Parvat. Okay, so these are called as the Greater Himalayas. Now you will be seeing that they are having various important peaks over here. Here you can see starting from the areas of Jammu and Kashmir, coming to some parts of Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand. Okay, and coming over here in Nepal, they will be having these tracks. Okay, these Mahabharat range, all these ranges are over there. Okay, so here you can see, if you are talking about these ranges over here, that is Dhaulagiri. Okay, coming to the next one, Everest. Okay, when we are talking about the Makalu, Kanchenjunga, these are all part of your, you can say, Greater Himalayas. Okay, other than that there are passes like Baralachala, Shipkila, Lipu Lake, etc. These are also part of Greater Himalayas. If we talk about some of the facts over here, you can see it is the most continuous and the loftiest range of Himalayas. It is having the average height that is around 6,100 meters. Okay, Coming to the next one, these are known as the inner Himalayas or the Himadris. This particular name Himadri, you can remember, that is important for you. The world's largest peak, Mount Everest, it is there in this particular part, and you know that is located in Nepal. Okay, now here you can tell me that India's highest peak, or you can say world's second highest peak, you can tell me in the comment box, because we have already discussed that earlier. Now coming to the next one, the height of the Mount Everest is somewhere around 8,848 to 8,850 meters. Okay, these are convex to the south. Convex to the south means that they will be having this curve over here, okay, towards the south. Now they terminate abruptly at Nanga Parbat in the northwest and Namcha Barwa in the northeastern region. Here you will be finding Nanga Parbat over here, that is Nanga Parbat starting from over here, and this is having a continuous range till Namcha Barwa. Okay, when we are talking about the Namcha Barwa, which is there in Arunachal Pradesh, after that we have Purvanchal Himalayas, which are over there, that is the separate part. Okay, so we'll be talking about that as well. Okay, now coming to the next over here, the range is mainly composed of the granite, genesis and the schists. Okay, so this is the origin of Himalayas. When we talk about the origin of Himalayas, you must know the story that there was this Indo-Australian plate which was moving towards the Eurasian plate, and then these two plates are kind of striking with each other or collapse with each other, and because of that, okay, most of the, when we are talking about two plates, that is one plate and let's say this is the second plate, if the denser plate will be going inside, okay, so this plate will be going inside, and because of which this plate will start to rise like this. Okay, now this is basically your Himalayas, which has been created because of the collision of these two plates, that is one is your Indo-Australian plate and second is your Eurasian plate. Okay, so I hope that is clear, and Himalayas are still rising. Okay, when we are talking about the speed of Himalayas, which is rising at the pace of nearly 2 centimeters. Okay, so that is there. Himalayas are called as the young mountains because they have been, when we are talking about the, you can say India's physiography, you will be seeing that we have the peninsular plateau, that is the oldest part. Then we have Aravalli hills, these are the oldest or the remnant of the fold mountains which were there. Now Himalayas are still young mountains, and that is why you will be seeing that they are active. Okay, tectonically they are active. Okay, they are still rising. There are various earthquake potential which is there in Himalayas. Okay, you will be seeing that landslide etc. which happens in Himalayas. So that is the reason, because they are still rising. So this is about the Greater Himalayas. We will be moving to the next part over here, starting with the first article, that is India Kuwait boost strategic ties, partnership, K pact on the defense. Okay, now our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has visited Kuwait Amir. Okay, the name of the Amir is Sheikh Mashal Al Ahmad Al Zabar Al Sabah. Okay, so you don't have to remember the name. If you can remember and mention your mains answer writing, that would be very great. But again, this is difficult for you to remember, so don't worry about that. Held their first bilateral meeting on Sunday, as I told you, after 43 years. Last time Prime Minister visited in 1981, that was Indira Gandhi. Okay. Ms. Gandhi has visited in 1981. After that, this is the first time the Prime Minister level visit is happening. Other than that, Vice President etc. has visited. Okay, but the thing is, this is the first time our Prime Minister is visiting Kuwait. Okay, so that is there. They have elevated their relationship to a strategic partnership, signal that the trade and the defense cooperation would form key pillar of the ties. They have signed some MOUs on the trade and as well as the defense sector. Kuwait conferred its highest honor, that is the Order of the Mubarak Al-Kabir, on Modi for his role in strengthening the relations between the two countries. Now, Prime Minister Modi has got various awards. When we are talking about the international fair, he has got various such honors. So you have to remember all this. You have to make a list of this. Okay, if it is possible, I'll be covering it in the next episode. Okay, otherwise you should do it. That is kind of your homework. Okay, the Order of Mubarak Al Kabir on Modi for his role in strengthening the ties between the two nations over here. This is the first by the Indian Prime Minister in 43 years, which we have already discussed. Indira Gandhi has visited in 1981. Along with him, our External Affairs Minister and the National Security Advisor has met with the counterparts over here. Now, with a strategic partnership, India and the Kuwait has given new momentum to the bilateral ties. Kuwait is among the top trading partners with bilateral trade, which is around 10.47 billion US dollars in 2023-24. India's community forms largest part in the, you can say, Kuwait. When we talk about our diaspora, they are there. They are contributing to the Kuwait's development. Now, one more thing I would like to tell you over here is that we are having these ties. We are getting our oil, crude oil, from Kuwait as well. So Kuwait is the 6th largest supplier. Okay, so that is there, which you can remember. Other than oil, we are also buying gas from, you can say, Kuwait. Okay, So I hope that is clear. Now we will be talking about some other aspects over here. Strategic partnership. India Kuwait has elevated their bilateral partnership to strategic partnership. We just have seen the areas, that is defense, pharmaceuticals, IT, fintech, infrastructure and security, where we will be collaborating. Economic ties, if we are talking about, the India's trade with GCC countries stood at 184.46 billion US dollars. This when we are talking about the Gulf Council countries. So that is there. Kuwait is important part of it. If we are having individually better relations with the Gulf countries, then there are high chances that we will be going for an FTA with GCC as well. Okay, so that is one important aspect, emphasizing on concluding the India GCC free trade agreement early. So that is some of the economic ties. When we talk about the geopolitical alignment, here you will be seeing that over 1 million Indians are there in Kuwait. So we have a good amount of diaspora which is working over there. Coordination between the two nations, global platforms, including the UN. So that is when we are talking about our pitch for the reforms at the UN. So that is important partner over here. Shared interest in the peace, stability and the security in the West Asian region. That is there. Joint condemnation of the terrorism in all forms. Measure to disrupt the terror financing. Ensure safer navigation and the dismantle terrorist infrastructure. Okay. So these are the areas where they have talked about. Okay. Now we can move further to the next one. I think Kanchenjunga is the second highest mountain. Okay, so when we are talking about the highest mountain in India, that is not Kanchenjunga. And when we talk about the second highest in the world, okay, that is not Kanchenjunga. So we are talking about the K2, Godwin Austen Peak, okay, which is there in India. Now let's move further to the next one. That is chaos cost winter session half of its time. Okay. Now, if we are talking about the Lok Sabha and the productivity, you will be seeing that 52% of the scheduled time has been, you can say, not utilized because of the disruptions at the house. Okay. So Rajya Sabha, if we are talking about, so Rajya Sabha work nearly 39%. For Rajya Sabha, that is 39%, which has been not utilized. Okay. Sorry, that is been utilized. So we can say that for Lok Sabha, that has functioned to 52% of its time only, and for Rajya Sabha, that is 39 to 40% only. So for the 60% or the for 50% time, they were even fighting in the house. Okay, so that is how we are impacting the productivity of the house. So we'll be talking about that aspect over here. Parliament was adjourned sine die Friday, making the end of the winter session that witnessed recurrent disruptions on the range of issues and acrimonious debates on the constitution. Okay, here they have talked about various statements, etc. That is not of any use. We will be focusing on the, you can say, issue at hand, that is the parliamentary productivity. Okay, so here you can see challenges to the parliament's productivity here. First is your frequent disruptions by the opposition, protest, etc. There are disruptions which are there. When we talk about the suspension of MPs, when there is this you can say disruption which is going on, then there are some of the disciplinary action which can be taken by the chair of the house. So you will be seeing that in 2023 winter session, they have faced suspension of 141 opposition MPs. There was this issue of security breach in parliament, and because of which they were protesting over here, and 141 of them has been suspended. Now, when you can say that 141 MPs has been suspended, that means that the kind of debate we want in the parliament, that might not have been happening over there, or you can say this much people could not participate in that particular debate. Okay, now coming to the next one, that is the poor quality of the legislation. Now, if the quality of debate is not good, or you can say the productivity of house is declining, people are fighting inside the house, so obviously you will get lesser time for the debates. And if you are getting lesser time for the debates, then you are going for the hefty passing of the bills. Okay, and when it is happening, that means that you did not give a proper thought to the legislation. So here you can say that hasty bill passing is happening. Okay, inadequate scrutiny of the bills are happening. Okay, coming to the next one over here, political polarization. So obviously there is this one political party which is in party, there is this another political party which is in opposition. Okay, there are various other parties also, they are having different ideological stands, because of which there is a divide which is created in the parliament, and ultimately what you will be seeing that there is no consensus. Okay, on the important issues there is no consensus, and that cost us the productivity of the parliament and stalled legislation which is there. Again, lack of participation, as I told you, some of the MPs, if they are suspended, other than that few are not attending the session. Okay, if we are talking about the attendance over here, 2019 to 24, you will be seeing that the attendance was 79%, and when we are talking about the budget session 2021, the attendance was merely 69%. So when this much of the MPs are absent, that means that they are not participating it. They were elected from the public, and they were here to represent their areas. Okay, but if they are absent, so they are not doing their duty. average attendance is low, debate participation will also decrease because they are not even present in the house. Other than that, one important aspect or the one important issue is the gender related bias. When we are talking about this over here, lack of the gender equality, low participation of the women, here you can say there is this data which is given. When we are talking about the 17th Lok Sabha, it was 14.4%. Okay, and when we are talking about the 18th Lok Sabha, that is right now, that is 13.6%. So participation has decreased. And if we are talking about the highest one, that is 14.4%, that you can say that even 14.4%, which is the representation which is there for the 50% of the population, because when we are talking about women as a population or the section of the population, that is representing 50%. Okay, and out of which only representation they are getting in the parliament is 14.4%. Considering that, you know that we have come up with a new amendment to the constitution wherein 33% seats will be reserved for women. We have seen that. Okay, so that is there. That is one of the issue, lack of the gender equality. Now let's move further to the next one, that is challenges to the parliamentary effectiveness. Now whatever we have seen, these are the facts which are there. Now because of which what is happening is that, one, we are undermining the consensus building. As I told you, if there is a polarization in the house, consensus will not be there. Okay, second thing is insufficient discussion on the bill, since attendance is low. Other than that, also there are disruptions because of which you can say discussion is not happening. Moving further, declining the effectiveness. If discussion is not there, that means that effectiveness is declining, because the whole job of the parliament is to discuss the bills. Okay, weak legislative debates which are going on. So what are the initiatives which can be taken? So disciplinary actions which are taken by the you can say chair of the house, code of the conduct which is there for the you can say working of the house which is there, technological adoption, they are going for the live streaming so that MPs can behave, they can talk sense. Other than that, committee system, since the time for the discussion is less, so they will be referring the bills to the committee. So these are some of the initiative which has been taken. Now enhancing the parliamentary productivity, how will you enhance? So you need youth engagement, more and more youth should engage in that. Constructive debate, that should increase. Presiding officers roles, when we talk about the speaker and the chairman of the house, they are impartial institutions, so they have to play a you can say a proactive role in considering or you can say managing the business of the house. Okay, public engagement, that is increased through the live sessions, etc. Okay, live streaming and all. Accountability culture, we have to hold them accountable. If they are not present in the parliament, then they should give a reason that why they were not there. Okay, so that is kind of accountability which we are looking for. Now coming to the next one, that is role for local essentials in the protecting the environment. Now when we are talking about this particular article over here, they are talking about the ecologist Madhav Gadgil. He has recently got the Champions of the Earth Award for 2024 from the UN. This is the UN's highest environment related award, so that is why it is important. This is the person who has actually worked in the Western Ghats. Okay, when we are talking about this Gadgil report which was there, you must have heard about the eco-sensitive zones. Okay, eco-sensitive zones in the Western Ghats. So he has actually worked on that, and he has submitted the report in 2011, I guess. Yes, he has submitted the report on the Western Ghat ecology expert panel. That report has been submitted in 2011, because of which he is kind of in news. Other than that, also when we are talking about his approach was to go for the bottom-up approach. Okay, he has said that the Gram Sabha or the local bodies over there, they should be given power. If we are going for any kind of mining activities, etc., so they should be asked about it. So here you can see the approach here should be bottom up in low sensitivity areas. When we are talking about the sensitive regions in the Western Ghats, so areas with the low sensitivity should require, or you can say if they are going for any kind of rock quarrying, etc., so they can be allowed with the suggestion from the well organized community groups such as the Kerala's Kudamshri. Okay, now this is the community group network which is there in Kerala. Okay, this is to empower women over here. So they are saying that you can get the opinion of such groups over there. Okay, so that is the public participation can be ensured over here by such activities. Okay, but sir, K2 is disputed. No, K2 is not disputed. Okay, that is part of India. When we are talking about the area which is illegally occupied by the Pakistan, that is the inherent, or you can say integral part of India. So K2 is not disputed. That is basically part of India. Okay. Now coming to the next one here. limiting activities in high and moderate ecologically sensitive areas in Western Ghats. Okay, so they are talking about the you can say any kind of infrastructure, mineral mining related activities. So that should be restricted in the high sensitivity areas. Okay, so this is what he has been talking about in this particular article. Now you should know that who is ecologist Madhav Gadgil, and he has got the award, that is Champion of the Earth award. Okay, so you can go through this particular article and you can mention him in the ethics paper as well. Okay, now coming to the next one, why and how did the United States eradicate murder hornet? Okay, so when we are talking about this hornet, these are kind of, you can say, bees. They look like bees, but they are quite dangerous. Okay, so USA has eradicated them. Now this is not important how they have eradicated them. What is important, that what this species is. Okay, so let's see. Northern giant hornet or the murder hornet has been eradicated in USA. The insect was first spotted in Washington state near the Canadian border in 2019. Okay, now it posed a threat to the bees and agriculture. This posed threat to various insects, but when we are talking about bees, they can actually you can say destroy a whole bee hive in, like, matter of hours. Okay, so that is why they are called as the murder hornets. Okay, now what made the murder hornets a threat? So here these are basically 2-inch long and invasive species from Asia, which is there in you can say United States. So one thing is that these is a invasive species for United States. Okay, United States. Okay, spotlighting in 2013 when they killed at least 42 people in China and seriously injured 1675 people. So they can harm the people as well, but this is a kind of a threat to the environment because they are threatening the, you can say, beehives over there. Okay, threat to insects and the native pollinators. Murder hornet can kill an entire beehive of honey bees in just 90 minutes. Okay, the hornets can enter a slaughter phase where they can kill the entire hives by decapitating the bees, and the hornets then defend the hives as their own, taking the brood to feed their young. So basically what they do is they attack the hive, they take control of the hive, they kill the bees over there, and they consider that hive or their own. Okay, so that is why these particular hornets are kind of, you can say, dangerous. Okay, USA has recently eradicated them for using various techniques. Okay, basically they have geotagged one of them and then they tried to find different hives where they are their locations, and then they have destroyed them. Okay, they also attack the other insects, but not known to destroy the entire colonies of these insects, but mostly they will be harming the bees. Okay, now they are having one important fact over here is that when we talk about bees, okay, so you know that bees has this venom in their you can say when they bite, there is this venom which is there. Okay, so when we are talking about the bees, they have 7 times more amount of venom in their, you can say, bite. Okay, and they can sting multiple times. When we are talking about a bee can sting one time, but they can sting multiple times. Okay, so that is about your murder hornets or the northern giant hornets. Okay, now we can move further to the next one, that is India lost dense forest, gained tree cover, says report. Okay, now there was this India state of forest report, that is a biannual report. Okay, so in 2 years one time that report will be there, released by the environment minister recently. A net gain of 156 square kilometer in India's forest cover and 1289 square kilometer in the tree cover. So we have got, you can say, we have gained the forest cover, that is 156 square kilometer, because that is not very good. Okay, when we are talking about the total cover, which has increased by nearly 1300 something, 1300 or 1400 square kilometer, but you will be seeing that most of them is because of the tree cover and not because of the forest cover. Now what is the difference which we will be seeing? Okay, now coming to this particular part over here, India recorded a net gain of 1545 square kilometers in total forest. Here you can say forest and the tree cover, they have net 1545 square kilometers, out of which we have seen that nearly 156 square kilometer is from the forest cover and the remaining 1289 is because of the tree cover. So mostly it is tree cover and not the forest cover. Total forest cover right now is 7,12,104 square kilometer, that is 21.73 of the India's geographical area. Now we have loss of 3,656 square kilometer dense forest during the same period. The you can say the key contributors to the forest gains are basically agroforestry promotion in the state like Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so basically here the idea or the, you can say, what you can take out of is that whatever gain we have seen recently. That is because of the tree cover, okay, and very minimal game was there in the forest cover. Now if you can see, maximum increase in the forest is seen in the Chhattisgarh, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha and Rajasthan because of the agroforestry related activities, etc. Okay, and the minimum loss, maximum loss is there in Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Ladakh and Nagaland. Okay, so this particular you can say picture you can have a note of, or you can make note out of it, so that can be, if that is asked in the examination, so you can know that. Now when we are talking about the forest cover categories, there are three categories which are there. Very dense forest cover, that is having a canopy density of more than 70%. Canopy is the basically when you are looking from the top view, you will be seeing the trees which are having the green spread, that is basically called as the canopy. Now moderately dense forest are there, that is 40 to 70% of the canopy density, and the open forest which are having less than the canopy density, and then comes the tree cover, then comes the grasslands. Okay, so that is there. Now we can move further to the next one, that is Indian rupee continues to fall against US dollar. What determines the exchange rate? Recently we have seen that the Indian rupees is falling. Okay, Indian rupee is falling. The exchange rate when we are talking about, so that is also has been in news. And why it is happening? Because there is the, you can say, when we are talking about the US dollar, or the price of US dollar, or US dollar is getting strengthened. Okay, so there are certain things which we will be seeing over here. Now how US dollar can be strengthened? You know that one factor is trade. Okay, one factor is trade in goods and services. Okay, second factor is investment. So we will be seeing that what is happening. Okay, now if investments are coming in India, that means that we are getting the dollar. That means that the demand of dollar is declining in our country. So considering that, rupee will rise and dollar will decline. But recently what is happening is that the dollar is going outside our country, and that is why the demand of the dollar is increasing, and that is why rupee is declining and the dollar is strengthening. Second thing is trade. When we talk about trade in goods or services, okay, so import and export, simple thing is there. So if we are importing more than the exporting, so that means that we have to pay more, and that is why we will need more dollar. Okay, and when we talk about the import and export with respect to US, mostly we are having surplus with USA. But again, when we are talking about the things right now which is going on with respect to the inflation, with respect to the rate cuts in the USA, and when we talk about the president's elections in USA, after that we know that Donald Trump is the president elect, and he has some kind of policies. He will be going for the import tariffs, etc. So if he is going for the import tariffs, that means that there will be exports which will be declining. Indian exports will be declining because he will be putting some kind of cap or the tariffs. Okay, and if the you can say our exports are declining, that means that the you can say the kind of dollars which are coming in our country, that will, you can say, decline, and ultimately dollar will get strengthened. So let's see over here. Indian rupees exchange rate against the US dollar has breached the mark, that is 85. Right now we are paying, for $1 US, we are paying 85 rupees or more than that. Okay, so that is basically the exchange rate. Coming to the, you can say, past data, you will be seeing that exchange rate was nearly around 83 in the April, and when we talk about a decade old rate, that is 61 around when the, Mr. Modi came in power. So that is you can say the 61 rupees, that was the exchange rate 10 years back. Okay, now coming to the what is the exchange rate. So when we talk about the India, okay, now if you are going out and you are buying some stuff, okay, let's say you are buying a toothpaste and you are paying in the domestic currency. Now when you are going for a trade in USA, or let's say you are going to for a travel in USA, now in USA you have to pay in dollar, US dollar. So from where you can get the US dollar? So with your rupees you have to go and purchase the US dollars. Okay, so you have to give 85 rupees for $1, and you are needing, let's say, $100. So you will be giving 8500 rupees, and then you will be getting $100, and out of which you will be paying for the toothpaste. Okay, so that rate at which you can say convert your rupee into dollar or dollar into rupee, that is called as the exchange rate. Okay, so I hope that is clear. And who will decide the exchange rate? Most of the time that is not pegged. Most of the time the market will be deciding on that. Okay, sometimes there are central reserve banks, etc., central or the federal banks are there which are intervening in that. So that is the different situation. Okay, now Coming to the next thing, so basically with whatever money you are buying the other currency, okay, so that is the exchange rate, okay. Coming to the next one, what decides it? So as I told you, mostly you will be seeing that the value will be decided by the demand, okay, and demand will be created because of two factors. One is the trade, okay, because of trade the demand of money will be there, because if you are exporting something, so they have to pay you. Now let's say if you are importing something from USA and let's say heavy machinery or some kind of chemicals you are importing from USA, so you have to pay in the US dollars. Now where will you get the US dollar? You have to purchase these US dollars, okay. So at the exchange rate you will be purchasing that. So since you are importing, that means that there is a demand of US dollar which has been created, and that is why you have to pay the US dollar, for which you have to buy the US dollar from somewhere, and at exchange rate you will be buying and then you will be paying to the USA, okay. So that is there. What decides this? So that is one thing, the trade. Because of trade you will be seeing that there is a demand which will be either high or low. On the basis of that, exchange rate will be decided. Second is the investment, okay. So let's see, in USA you are getting a, on the investment in USA you are getting a return of 5%. In India you are getting a return of 3%. So where will you invest? You will be investing in USA. So USA is a better destination, okay. Right now what is happening in India, because of the high inflation, whatever returns which we are giving to the investors, that is low, okay. And in USA they are giving higher you can say interest, and that is why money is being pulled out of India and that is being sent to the USA, or you can say that is been invested in the USA, okay. So that is why we are saying that the there is the dollar outflow which is happening, because of which the domestic demand of the dollar has increased, and that is why dollar is getting strengthened. Now here if you will see what factors determine the demand for the dollar. So one is the trade of goods, which we have discussed over here. We have discussed this example, so you can go through this. Second is the trade in services, which we have already seen, trade in goods or services. And third is basically your investment, which we have already discussed. Now what factors are affecting these three key demands right now? So one thing is that after the election there are high chances that tariffs will be there, okay. So if tariff is there, that means that our imports will decline. If our imports are declining, that means that less US dollar will come into India. If less dollar is coming into India, that means that our demand is increasing, there is less supply, and that is why the US dollars will get you can say appreciated. Second is second was the inflation factor, which I have seen that, let's say we are giving 10% return, but the 6% inflation is there in India, okay. So net returns will be 4%. Now on the other hand, if USA is giving 5% returns but there is 0% inflation, okay, so net returns that will be, you can say 5%. So here we are offering 4%, they are giving 5%. That means that the US market is more you can say attractive for the investment. So that is about this article. Now we can move further to the Panama Canal over here. So there was this Panama Canal which was in news. USA is saying that Panama is charging high. So there are high chances that they will take the control of the Panama Canal after he is in power. So let's see what happens. What is Panama Canal? That is artificial waterway which is connecting Atlantic with the Pacific Ocean. Okay, it is joining the North and the South America, which we will be seeing, and this is strategic for the trade. Okay, so that is there. Here you can see it is approximately 80 kilometers long. This is North America, this is South America, this is the canal which is connecting it. This is connecting the, you can say, Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean over here. Now in history, if we are talking about, the France has started building it, but they could not because of the crunch of money. Then USA has taken over. USA has started building it and they opened the canal on 15th of August 1940, and then till 1999 they have operated it, and after that they have given it to the Panama. Okay, so that is about Panama Canal, which you can remember. Other than that, if you are talking about the location, so this is Panama, it is cutting through the Panama. Isthmus of Panama is there. Okay, so that is there. So one side you have Colombia, second side you have Costa Rica, but this is wholly there in the Panama country. Okay, other than that we have discussed all these things. This is through Panama, it is going there. This is the Panama Isthmus. Okay, now coming to the next part, for your own read, there is this article, Disha Nayak visit and the India-Sri Lanka relations. So you can go through this article. In the end, we have a question for you, that is Panama Canal connects which two oceans? Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean and Arctic Ocean, Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean, Pacific Ocean and the Southern Ocean. Okay, so you can go through this particular question and answer to me in the comment box. With that, I would like to take your leave. I'll see you in the next episode. Till then, have a good day. Thank you.